Hello, everyone. How are you guys? Hopefully, everybody is doing well and that um, day today has been not toxic, right? Rewarding. Um, Welcome to Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson. This is a channel where we have difficult conversations and we engage in content that holds people accountable, whether they're content creators or a celebrity or even your neighbor, essentially. But we have the conversations around accountability that typically prove to be a little bit difficult because it can be challenging for us to accept some things that are innate truths, to the walk of life that we currently engage in. So today, today has been an interesting day. It was brought to my attention and some content was shared by a fellow content creator today. And there was a conversation being engaged in or whatever by a couple of different female content creators. I think that we mentioned on last night's show. I've talked to you guys a little bit about the ones that I would talk about in this conversation if you guys caught the show earlier, right? But there is a conversation being had around the controversy between Tabitha Brown, excuse me, and Wendy Williams. Okay. And to kind of give you guys a little bit of background, right? For those of you who don't know, I'm sure like pretty much everybody knows, but who knows? Somebody is under a rock sometimes. That's sometimes me. So, Wendy Williams is a TV show talk host, talk TV show. Well, I don't know what you call it. A host of a TV talk show. But she typically she's a gossip columnist. That's really what I want to call her. She's what one would typically see as the original or old school black female gossip column. And Wendy Williams went through a very difficult time over the course, I think, of last year, maybe year before last or whatever. Over the course of her struggle through her marriage, I'm pretty sure she had lots of trauma. That kind of comes with the territory. There was a big story about her husband having cheated on her. There was a rumor about a baby possibly being a part of that affair. And then the rumors were confirmed. Her husband had a baby on the way with another woman, Sabrina something. Uh, can't remember. If any of you remember the story, feel free to like pop the name here. And I mean, there was a lot of conversation, there was a lot of drama around it, but she never spoke to her drama. Meanwhile, reviewing and gossiping about everybody else's drama. As a result, there were some rumors that Wendy Williams had a relapse and she went back into using drugs and things like that. Type of one in the chat if you're familiar with substance use culture. At any rate, these are things that were happening over the course of that particular time. And she struggled through life during that time, and she ended up getting a divorce from her husband. And she put on a nice face and said that she was happy, and then she kind of went through the rebound phase or whatever. I'm not judging nobody. She went through something. Anyway, there is now a story that is being covered. Tabitha Brown is an actress. She's been doing this for quite some time. I remember she having some appearances on BET and things like that. But so Tabitha Brown is now also a content creator. She's a woman who pushes general positivity and then sometimes goes above and beyond, to help people. She, some people call her a Bible thumper and things like that. But, at any rate, I've never seen anything negative come from the lady. So As long as you're not a negative Nancy. She puts positive energy into the atmosphere. And one of her centralized themes definitely aligns with mine. When it comes to people minding their own business, I feel like she has a marriage that has been in its own right healthy and out of the limelight for some time, while she built her career. And a lot of people know her as the vegan lady now. She's making her own seasons and got McCormick to sign on. It's a lot of things. It's a whole mood, right? So you would think that female content creators who are on social media, which is where you see Tab really get her start when it comes to the vegan content and things like that. She's just on Facebook and Instagram and whatever things she's doing. You would think that she would get the same level of support and the same magnitude of support from people who are content creators on YouTube who are relatable content creators. So when I say relatable, I want to make sure I use that extremely carefully. Okay. Um just because a person looks like you doesn't mean they are like you. And I have to say that because I've come to a general consensus of understanding that even though I would love to promote 100% unity amongst women and men in the Black community, the things that I notice that are incongruent and the things that I notice need work, the conversations that need to be had, the difficult conversations that need to be addressed, the elephant in the room is the fact that we collectively have been conditioned to maintain an idealism mindset of crabs in a bucket, so to speak. Okay. So let's review this content. Okay. And we're going to review Tab's video as well. And you know what? Maybe that's a good place to start. Let's go to her video really quickly. See if I can find it because I did watch it earlier today, and I just so feel like it's better to be able to look at that content versus other options. Wow. How are you guys doing tonight, by the way? You guys have to excuse me because, like, I'm doing my own stuff today. My own stuff. Okay.
But there's this woman.
Okay.
Her name is Tabitha Brown.
Hold on. I'm gonna show you the Wendy Williams clip because I want to go in order, so it makes sense. So I'll show you the Wendy Williams and then I'll show you the Tab's response. You guys, by the way, I really hate doing negative content review. I really do, because this is going to probably get a little ugly, and it is what it is. But don't say I didn't forewarn you.
Her name is Tabitha Brown. Oh, you know her? Clap if you know her. Okay, good. I don't know her. Well, she's an influencer, and she's saying that she's retiring her husband. He's been a police officer for 15 years, and he wants to live out his dreams. Take a look.
I have said to him, babe, it's time. It's time. It's time for him to dream again. It's time for him to think like a child and think, ooh, when I grow up, what do I want to be? And it's something else. It's time for a new journey, a new chance at life, right? And God has blessed us. He has blessed me that I can retire husband.
Nope. I was married to one of those. I make the money and so on and so forth. Go live your dreams, buy a business, stay with me, but go. You see how that turned out. I predict that this marriage is going to be on real rocky ground in a moment. Live your dream. Then they invest in stuff and they lose the money. And then they invest in something else and the money gets swindled or stolen. Then they invest again. Then he comes home and throws his bag down. And he's like, and she's like, what? What? And he's like, I can't do this. And this is your fault. You're over here making all your money and stuff. You had me quit my job and I can't find my live like a child. No, but you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, no, no, you work. Being a cop was a big part of his identity. He liked it, but she came to him and said that. Clap if you understand what I'm saying. Hospice, damn. Okay, I don't know this woman because I don't follow social media like that regarding influencers and what all goes on, But this woman, her name's Tabitha Brown.
Because it's really easy to get caught up in the smile. So welcome everybody, welcome. Hi everyone. Um, she said it took him a year to make this decision and I'm really proud of him. Which means that, how do you think he came to this decision? When she says, I'm really proud of him, what do you think was going on behind the scenes that then resulted in him saying yes and her giving him the accolade for being proud of him? When we see him conflicted, now that we come back around to watching the video again, I personally, because of the length of their relationship and how much they've grown up with one another, right? I kind of feel like he feels this conflict inside. And so to your point, Cynthia, when I had TKO skin, I knew that I wanted to close TKO skin. However, on the final day when it was time for me to hand in the key, I was in a puddle of tears because that was, I was the woman who got rid of stretch marks and who did the trade shows and all of that. And that was who it is that I'd known myself to be for 5 years. And so I was in a puddle of tears, even though I knew that that was the direction that I wanted to go in. With this man, I don't really know the caliber of his manhood, what is manhood for him. And then also, as you said, men nowadays are wearing acrylic nails and glitter. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be serious. Right? But
tips and
right, but you know what? There are like everybody's relationship is different. That's why when I did my video, I didn't really want to make it about their relationship because obviously this woman is very rooted in her masculine. I actually had I called my sister today because because now that I did this video about Tabitha and her avocados are descending upon my page, throwing their inner seeds at me, right? I saw a video of hers where she bought her father a car, and I had to call my sister and I said, sis, if you bought dad a car, do you think he would accept this? And my sister had the same sentiment that I did. Hell no. It's like he would think it was cute, but he wouldn't take it and he wouldn't drive it. That's my father. My father is a strong patriarch, right? This woman bought her father a car and then she labeled the video my father's first new car. It's like she will not allow men to be men and do what it is that they need to do as men. So if that is the type of relationship that people want, by all means, I let you lay down your cape for them. But the rest of us, if we want to talk about how to rest in our feminine and how to have relationships that fulfill us and allow us to be able to flourish in our feminine energy, that's a different conversation now. Because remember when we did those videos early in the pandemic, all of the women who were able to retire and let their men work and take care of everything, well, not retire, but they were out of work, so their men were working. The women were juicier, plumper, fatter in all the right spots now. And the men felt more jubilant and more masculine. Babies were being made. But now this, y'all tell me.
You know, and I think also, that's a good point, Tanya, but I also think that the reason why her lifelong dream was to retire her husband is because he's been complaining about how he has to make provisions for them.
Ooh.
He's obviously come home complaining about his job, that so much that's in her psyche to help him get off of it.
You know what? That's so interesting. That's so interesting. And then also another thing that I think we have to make mention of, because people thought that they were telling me the business in my comments by saying his daughter's 25, she's grown. And I'm like, but this only means that when he first got this job, she was 10. So it's like, he got a job and people like, he sacrificed for his wife, but the man had a child that was 10 years old. What was he doing to care for that child for 10 years? Oh my God.
So I want to address this comment really quickly because and I know that this is a woman, I just didn't catch her name, but she said, so you can't give men gifts these days. I think that there's a difference between giving a man a gift, which everybody does, give men gifts all the time, and then saying, I bought my father his first car as if he's a 16-year-old who's graduating high school or whatever, or an 18-year-old who's graduating high school. That is very different. And I think that there's an issue, even though we live in a society with other men, there is an issue where Black women are not capable of connecting Black men to the level of manhood that other male groups are exhibiting. That is the problem. Even though we like to live in this Black community bubble where we don't want to pay attention to what's going on outside of it unless it's time to go out and protest and try to convince the world that Black men's lives matter. Then we realize we're in a society of other men. But when it comes to the performance and the execution of manhood, Black women don't know what that looks like. And I think that we should be able to have an honest discussion and say, because there are no men in the homes, and because we do have the most weakest feminine group of men who really, they do want to rest in their femininity. There was a lot of Black men who saw no problem with this. And I think it's because Black men don't know what true manhood is. And that speaks to the TikTok video that you sent me, Nyla, where this morning, where there was a white man in there talking about being a provider and being a protector and how that is synonymous with manhood. That is what a man is supposed to do. Black women are not able to make these connections on what manhood is and what you should be doing to help to facilitate manhood rather than facilitating your males resting in their femininity, all the while calling you masculine because now you have to play the role that they should be playing. That's what we need to admit to.
That's deep.
It is. And even like the point, because when I first heard about her buying her father a car, I was like, I think I was talking to Ren about this. I was like, well, wow, that, you know, that's because when I think about like my dad, how like he's always done everything for everybody. Like he paid for our college out of pocket. He did everything. So you do kind of like, you know, I'm a daddy's girl. So, and all of my sisters are, so you do think, yeah, that would be cool. But like, even in thinking about that, I didn't even think about it. Her dad's first new car. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I guess she has no brothers that have accomplished anything, and her father has never even been able to do that kind of stuff. Just as a collective display of us as a community, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, you know what?
It puts the women in their masculine. It does.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I wanted to piggyback on that point because it's so profound that we're honing in on that. His first new car, which means all of the cars that he had gotten before then were not good enough, were not new enough, were not what she could provide. And it's like the part of the reason that I wouldn't, and I'm a daddy's girl too, part of the reason that I wouldn't buy my father a car is because there is an underlying message in buying him a vehicle or getting something for him that he's not been able to do for himself. And that underlying message is, what you have been able to do has not been good enough. I can do this better. And when her husband is working to provide for the family, where is his accolades and his kudos for being a good provider and all of that stuff? Instead, she says, well,
I told you guys I really didn't have the energy and no desire whatsoever to have to do this video, but here we friggin' are. So let's get into this. What are your thoughts based off of what you're listening to right now? What are your thoughts? There are a lot of things that I'm thinking right now. Okay. There are a lot of things that I was thinking as I was listening to this BS earlier today. I'm not sure if it's a Black women problem or if it's a Black culture problem, but we definitely, there is something going on with us when I pause right here for a second. Look at the screen. Just look at the screen. You actually have a Black male contributing, and I really hope that it's a female behind that profile, contributing $25 individually, not collectively, to this group of women sitting up having a conversation about another woman's gifts to that woman's husband and that woman's father. And the only thing that you can come up with as to why this person would do these things is because this woman is continuously rested in masculine energy. And that this woman does not know how to let a man be a man. That this woman has men in her life who don't know how to be men. I don't think there is enough emotional energy in the world to be able to conceptualize this in any other way than what we plainly see right here rendered in this in this dialogue, if that's what you want to call it, of bitter women. And I'm saying women because on my channel I try my best to not shame and name call people. Okay? But that's definitely not the language that I want to use. After hearing this, you would think that after a Black woman who identifies as a Black woman, who is a part of a culture of Black women, you would think that Black women, when seeing a Black woman thrive in life, when seeing a Black woman accomplish something in life, you would think especially when anti-African Svengalis, right? That's her name, was on my channel yesterday, and she defended Cynthia G to say that Cynthia G is the first person to stand up for Black women. Some people, I think that you have to see the character trait of a person and call a spade a spade. Period. So people will be who they will be regardless. If a woman is going to go to the extent of going after a man, then that lets you know that that woman has no virtue. She has no personal identity that will prevent her from stepping out and doing what it takes in that same seated pain and going after another female. There is nobody that will be protected. If that's how you are in life, if that's kind of what you do in life, if the only thing that you can see in life is negativity down a hallway with a mixed variety of everything, you're a negative person. At the core of you is negativity. I was hoping to see uplifting statements. I was hoping to hear a conversation of mature Black women congratulating this young woman on her accomplishments, because her direct accomplishments are a direct reflection of the stability not only of her marriage, but her system that supports her marriage, her faith, whatever that faith is, regardless of if she's Christian, Muslim, Catholic, it doesn't matter. You would think that grown women, you would think that grown Black women know how to celebrate one another. But instead, I tuned into a gossip session, a name calling session, a session where you see women belittling men and women. And the interesting thing to me, I don't know if you guys really took notice of it, and I know that this other part is not just up just yet. Nyla Speak is a married woman. So she has a husband. And her husband, I don't know if she misinterpreted him, but her words were, her husband was like, well, what is he doing? Why would he do that? Accept the fact that your wife values the work that you've put in to your household. Accept the fact that your wife values the fact that you have been a protector and a provider in by any means necessary in one of the most dangerous occupation out here, especially for a Black man. I mm, I don't have words. I don't have words for what I am listening to. I don't have words for what I have heard. I have no words for how I feel about the condition of our people. But there is obviously an issue. If you have this many people tuned in, listening to, attuning their attentions to, being entertained by, commenting on this kind of entertainment, I want to know what is going on. I'm the one that's really confused here. Let me see. Where is my conversation about? You know, you said it's sad for Black women to act this way. The question is it only Black women though? Like, or is it Black men too? I think it's a combination of both. But I've not yet seen, and I'm gonna be honest, I've not yet seen, other than Tommy Sotomayor, gonna be honest. Hey, Stranger Talk Live, how are you? Other than him, I've not seen Black men behave like this. I've not seen that, but I will say there is a particular thing, right? You expect women to be catty, right? You expect women to be outwardly jealous, right? You expect women to display these characteristics. For whatever reason, it's accepted. It's really accepted in our culture. However, you would think that over the course of life where you've had time to mature, that you've moved from the ideals of name calling and shaming and blaming, belittling and all that stuff, and you've come into a place to where you value yourself and you respect yourself enough, it's not even about the other people, because you don't know anything about those people. And to be honest with you, Tanya TKO, Cynthia G, and Nyla Speaks, this ain't none of your damn business. It literally isn't. What Tabitha decides to do with her husband, I'm going to say it again. What Tabitha Brown decides to do with her husband of over 20 years, her husband is not your damn business. It just isn't. My confusion here is this. What's wrong with us when we are the people who are supporting this bullshit? That's the question. That's the question. When we have so many of us that have our mindsets shaped around the possibility that every Black man who has done what it takes, what a woman has asked him to do in the context of their personal relationship. How many times have you guys heard me speak on this channel about the inadequacies of Kevin Samuels' previous algorithm? Because even Kevin Samuels is smart enough to move, okay, off of his previous conditioned mindset. What does that say about you? You're still a negative person in the same space, in the same place, in the same broke down mindset, trying to go out here and shame men. Why? Cynthia's husband didn't even, he's not the one that did it. Cynthia's husband did not make you a baby mama. He didn't. He didn't. So my thing is, why are you misdirecting and projecting that energy of your pain onto a whole nother person's relationship? Not just this one person, but the whole relationship. My thing was, when this first got sent to me, you guys understand that this was over a week ago when I first got this content, and people were like, what do you think about this? I want to hear this on your channel. I haven't talked about it at all. Why? I think that it's a great thing that these two people who have accomplished their dreams collectively as a couple, individually as individuals, who have set out particular objectives as to how they were going to meet their goal, and then they came together and they got that shit done. I think that's great. There are no accountability conversations around that. For what? For what? What do I need? What do I need to say to Tabitha? Because I'm proud of this woman. I celebrate her. It's an accomplishment. Finally. And then you got a problem with this woman buying a damn car for her father. Where is your daddy? You said that so many people gravitate to that form of rhetoric, misguided adults. Exactly. I'm like, who is raising you? That's what I really don't understand. I feel like there are people who are so opposite on both extremes that you cannot see what's right in front of you. There are success stories happening, around you every single day in this life as Black people. And what I see is a constant divide, male versus female. It's a male versus female. And I said that before. What that leads to is the extension of the Black race. And that might be a good thing. And I'm going to say it again, because I feel like race is something that is used as oftentimes a cop-out for the Black community to claim some ties to something that they don't have any right to, that entitlement complex. And then you walk around with that entitlement complex, and then you think that it's okay for you. You think you're entitled to have a conversation about another woman's marriage. You've never been married, though. Nobody's married you, though. Somebody made you a baby mama, obviously. And I could see that reason why you're upset with Kevin Samuels and his targeting Black women that are baby mama syndrome. Totally get it. You fit the bill. Hello, we're here for accountability. But what I do not get is why it is that you want to target another woman because she hasn't been made, hasn't gone through the experience of becoming a baby mama, and she's somebody's wife. You want to ask questions about where this woman is seated in her marriage. You want to make assumptions. And Wendy Williams of all people, I don't even know how the woman is still on the air. I think it's just by the grace of God and the forgiveness of people and the pity of people, because I think people pity her and her situation, having had a husband that did what some men do sometimes. Wendy Williams is nobody different than any other woman that ever got cheated on, whose husband got a baby while they were married. She's no different than the rest of them. At the end of the day, you're sitting on television and you're constantly ridiculing people and picking apart people's lives to find things to go after them and reveal about them that those people want to remain very private. I just feel like there is no sense of personal, moral, or ethical ground that keeps people out of other people's business when the shit ain't their business. Like, literally, if you have a platform where you're trying to promote the positive prosperity or whatever you're trying to promote out there, okay, ladies, with Black women, go do that. Stay out of other people's business while you're doing it and promote that positivity, whatever that looks like for you. But stop bringing people into the conversation that you have no validity in having these discussions around. If you're not married, haven't been married, you can't attest to what marriage looks like after 20 some odd years. You can't attest to what a good marriage and a bad marriage relationship looks like. You can't say that people are unhappy in their marriages. Why? Because your ass ain't never been married. Nobody married you. That's the reality. Nobody did it. That's not to say that nobody entered your body sexually, but nobody married you. So at the end of the day, why are you having conversations about things that you have absolutely no direct insight into? If this woman decides that she wants to be the woman who reinvests in her system, because that's what that is. An investment in your husband is an investment in yourself. The fact that these women of this culture, of this generation, are so selfish and egotistical to think that they are the only thing, the end all be all of all humanity. Like, you're the only thing that matters. And you want to hold Black men accountable for protecting your ass when all you can see is the flaws in the Black man? Like, I need help in understanding. I really do. I need help in understanding where this mindset comes from, because I'm having a real difficult time understanding it. And the other component is this. Tanya TKO talks about the fact she has a conversation that you guys listen to about what she understands and what she doesn't understand about this. And you talk about the fact that this woman has a tremendous amount of masculine energy because she is so strong. How is it that the fact that this woman knows her place in her marriage, she knows how to respect her husband, she knows how to respect and appreciate his sacrifice. Her husband is an entire police officer. Police officers now are the most attacked men in this world. It's not just the Black male condition. Police officers who are Black literally are the most attacked and under attack population. Why? You got Black people who are misguided, wanting to kill them just because they don't want to be held accountable. You got white people misguided because they don't want to be held accountable, wanting to kill them. You got regular people trying to get away with crimes because that's what the fuck criminals do. They don't want to get caught. They want to get away. They don't want to get caught. So at the end of the day, if a police officer is in my way, shit, I gotta mow him down if I'm trying to get this accomplished. This is the most vulnerable population of people. And you got this woman who is like, who sees her husband's vision, but understands that he does have a plan as to how he's going to secure what they have before he decides to pursue his business. Okay. And you want to ridicule her for that? For recognizing that her husband has another purpose in life, that he has something that he would like to engage in, something that he sees himself doing longitudinally that brings him joy, but he can also get paid. You see these things, and he also can give back and put himself into the community, which is a very much needed thing. Black men are very much needed in communities right now. That is exactly what these young men and women need, especially these young boys who have no father in a home. Hello, what's her name? Cynthia G. Did you just say that? She literally just said, well, there's no black fathers in the home. So the fuck you mean? You got a problem with this black father going into the community to help these young boys that don't have a father at home? Seriously, when his wife and him have worked hard over the course of their marriage to come to a place to where they could finally afford and position themselves, seat themselves in a place to where they can collectively elevate the black community. And all you can do is see a reason to target them, to ridicule them, to embarrass them, to shame them, to name call them. I don't understand it. Make it make sense for me. Somebody go tag Cynthia G and tell her to come over here and explain this. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You complain that the black men don't want to marry black women. When you see a black man marry a black woman, what, you pissed off that he proved you wrong? That black men are still out here with the intent and purpose of being married, continuing their legacy, honoring women, not black females, and that's it. So black females and black women are a huge difference. I'm going to go ahead and just make that line of delineation, because at this point, I don't think I can take it anymore. I just don't. So there is a difference in being a female because you were born with a vagina between your legs, and being a woman because you have the emotional maturation that is rendered to people over the course of their lifespan when they have positive people conditioning them and cultivate them and shaping them into the properly seated position in their gender role. Okay, so there is a difference in the two. I don't know what these females are. You said, Tanya TK, I wish she had a chance, Brown, especially when she was home. Exactly. And that's my thing with her. Like, you're talking about what a man is responsible for doing. What the fuck? Where was a man when your homeless ass was in your car? And the rest of these people, us, I was one of the people that donated, that felt sorry for you, giving you all this money.
Ma'am?
Yes.
I'm experiencing a lot of masculine energy right now.
Hell no, that's femininity. And I'm gonna get to that. Like, because I'm so tired of hearing these young girls talk about what's masculine and what's feminine and all that shit. Feminine energy is leadership energy. It's leadership energy that knows their place. The problem is these young people don't know their damn place. They can't advise a man because they can't advise their damn self. The only thing they can do, name call, blame, shame, not take accountability, not take responsibility, don't grow up, go in and execute discord in somebody else's marriage and all of that extra stuff. Like, I'm over it.
Dr. J, golly, calm down. I was talking about me. Jeez.
Whatever. I can't hear you.
Boy, I tell you.
I can't with you. But I'm here for it tonight because I have never been so disappointed in a group of black women in my life, like literally. And I mean, I've seen some things, but this right here, to see how many people gravitate to, that, who bandwagon onto that. And you want to take down a strong Black family, the buildings of the makings of a strong Black family, not realizing that these are things that marriages go through. And you see, what's her name? Wendy Williams. I struggled for so long with the idea that Wendy Williams was a woman. I'm going to be honest. I'm honest.
Me too. Yeah, dude.
Well, oh, she's a woman for real?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, right.
I was like, no, she couldn't have had that baby because transsexuals can't have babies. I literally thought that she was a transsexual. I swear.
She had a baby?
Right. She has a son. She and Kevin have a son. And so for me, it was really hard for me to even get over that. So for me to really see that she had a husband, I was like, oh, kudos to her. Somebody for everybody.
Kevin who? Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hunter.
Oh, my bad. You know I don't be keeping up with no Wendy Williams.
Rebellion narcissist like you too. We said my father said that's a man. I swear, like literally, and you guys know I'm not a person that get on here to take people down and stuff like that. I'm not about dethroning people, but exactly. I got that up there as a talking point. Where is it? I probably put it. Yeah, projection and pain. That is my talking point. Literally, she projected, and you could see it in her face. She was reliving that. When she was talking about, I see their marriage going through this, and then I was that girl. I've been through blah, 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 blah.
Hey, Stranger Talk Live, appreciate it. Salute to you as well.
I can't. I just can't. I don't know. I just feel like there is Black women in our community. We need work, and the first thing is to acknowledge it, to see it, and then to draw a line of delineation. Like you got to differentiate yourself from these single females. So single women are women, single females are females, and they may always remain single. I don't know what to say about Nyla Speaks or Nyla Speaks' husband. Did you listen to that part? Did you hear him personally? Because I didn't.
The time when they did their podcast earlier today.
Yeah. Because she said her husband was like, "What is he doing?" or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about when Nyla Speaks was doing her personal podcast. I didn't catch all of it. I only caught the first 30 minutes of it because I had to do my show. But what was there? I don't know. But I only caught the first 30 minutes of it. That's it.
Hold on, I'm gonna play some more. Let me play some more because because she ain't said it yet.
Look, I can allow you to, I don't know, do something better than what it is that you have been doing. Do something better to take care of our family. Do something better that's more in line with, but this is what he chose. Nobody came and took a lasso and wrangled him down and made him become a police officer. He met some people, he became inspired, and then he became an officer.
So hold on. I lied. I said I was going to let it play, but I can't. So with Tanya TKO, there is something that really pisses me off because I'm a person who personally donated to this woman.
Why did you do that foolish thing?
Because I hate to see people homeless on the streets living. She was living in her car, for God's sakes, and trying to accomplish a dream. And my thing is, like, apparently, you need to go get yourself some education and things like that. But everybody is somewhere before they're somewhere, whatever. I just never had to be in that somewhere. And I would hope to God that one of my daughters would never find themselves in that somewhere that she was in. So I did feel sorry. But what pisses me off is that part that I've donated my money to your sorry ass. And then she makes it clear on here. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. Like, I've never had a regular job. Like, bitch, you never tried to go work? Ever? I wish you had put that on that post. It just grinds my gears. I really wish you had just put that on that post so I could have saved my dollars. All of them.
Is this video that you presented right now? Is this
This is the one that
Nala?
all
Is
of
this Nala or is this on Cynthia?
this is on Cynthia's page. All of them were on it.
Oh,
The one that you sent me.
oh, okay. Did you see it in its entirety from beginning to end?
Yeah. 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 I did. And you know what? I think I lost brain cells over the course of it because I feel like I really don't have the words that to explain what I'm looking at. Like, but my thing is, you were a whole homeless person, and there was no man making provisions for you. But I'm not gonna do it. I'm so tempted. So what I'll say is this, okay? In lieu of what I was going to say, I'm gonna say this. You should be humble, Tanya TKO. You should be a lot more humble. I didn't know Tanya TKO is a YouTuber. She was on Facebook then. I don't know, and you may know her if you see her face. I'm pretty sure she is very extra. What I don't like is that she's made a career out of negative content, negative review, and going after people. And she always talks about the process of resting in feminine energy and all this stuff. A feminine woman understands that a man has not only a position, not only a job, not only a role in your relationship with him and in life in general, in your interactions with them, but she respects that position and however it is that he chooses to accomplish the provisions that come along with that responsibility. You understand what I'm saying? So women who are rested in their feminine energy are not basking in the glory of worrying about what the fuck men are doing. Like that's just not what women who are rested in their and seated in their feminine energy need to do. And they don't do it because they don't feel the need. They're not compelled to. They're not out here to prove that whatever some man thinks a woman should be is what it is. They're not out here to try and fit the schema of what a man says he wants because she is who she is. And she's so comfortable in that place that she is. And her sense of self is so secure in where she is that she sees herself authentically enough to improve in areas where she knows that there are flaws. But the reality is when the right man comes along and he's the right energy for her, he doesn't even notice the flaws that she notices. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, even in my own perspective about that, I just believe that the reason why Tanya TKO, the reason why she is what she is now is because it's more profitable for her to be this character. No different for Kevin Samuels because when you look at her, yeah, when you look at the comparison with Tanya TKO and Kevin Samuels, they both pretty much started off in a way the same way where Kevin Samuels, he was mainly talking about, advertising cologne and all this stuff there. Tanya TKO, she was doing the same thing, but the only opposite was that she was advertising like creams and everything like that, oil and everything like that. And both of them saying that it wasn't very profitable, so they end up becoming something. So that's what can make that money.
She always wanted to push something else. Like she always wanted to push drama. Like even when she was doing all of that stuff, she was still fishing for dirt when Derrick Jackson was out there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Samuel coming up out here in these streets. She wanted to make sure she took him down real quick. Every single male that has ever been out there, and if you really notice it, her primary target is men. She's always going after men. And she's always hypersexual in her presentation because she's trying to appeal to something. I don't know what that something is, but to something. And it's just it's not cute. It's disgusting. I could say a lot of things, okay? But I'm not going to do what she does. But I've given my reviews of her and what I see when I look at her to my daughters. and just know it wasn't good. So at the end of the day, if you're going to be on television, you have a crew who preps you and make sure that you look good. You're presenting in a way that is acceptable to the society of people who are viewing you. So Wendy Williams, she has that crew that's doing that. Tanya TKO doesn't. And for you to try to get behind somebody like Wendy Williams, that ain't it. And then for you to try to ridicule somebody like Tabitha. And you know what would have been better for me if she had never responded to this? If Tab had never responded to this conversation wouldn't even be taking place, you know. But I'm going to say this on her behalf, she's better than having to respond to somebody like Wendy Williams. She's better than that, because yes, I understand that you truly want to pray for Wendy Williams to find somebody who is seated and who is good for her. But the thing is, Wendy Williams has a lot of work that she has to do. Marriages do not fail. Husbands do not cheat if there is not something going on in the marital union that you two share together. That's just what it is. And when those things happen, you have to be ready to deal with what's going on in the relationship. And so when you fail to deal with what's going on in the relationship, things escalate. And when you know what happens when the kitchen get hot, your ass going outside because you don't like that heat. So a lot of people will do that. That's just what happens in marriages. But if you've been married to somebody for over 20 years, if you have tethered yourself to someone else's energy for over 20 years, regardless of what Tabitha Brown and her husband's relationship looks like, if you knew what that was like, you would know that's none of your damn business. Because literally, whatever goes on in their marriage, apparently it's good. Apparently it's fruitful. Apparently it's healthy. Apparently this woman is extremely feminine and extremely appreciative, because here it is. She's not only done the things for her father, who she's appreciated being in her life, but she's also done these things for her husband to make sure that he's seated to start his business, which leads to him being able to provide for them at a greater propensity. So when I hear things like from these people, when I hear things from these people, and those reflections are, oh, I can definitely see how, blah, 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 it's going to happen because Black men do this. Oh, well, let's go look. I think that his child is this, and she paid his child support and all of this. Whose business is that? Bitch, did it come out your pocket? Like, I feel like I don't know who raised these people. Cynthia G said something about her mother feeling concern over her content initially. Somebody go find her mama and tell her to pull up. Because at the end of the day, I need to know, what did you raise and why?
You know, the only criticism that I have of Tabitha is her point of putting her business out there like that to begin with. That's my only criticism. For some reason, celebrities like herself just have this weird reason that they got to put their business out in the street like that. I just don't agree with that, period. There's an old saying that say you don't need to let your left hand know what the right hand is doing or thinking. Same thing in any situation. If you let people know your play and what you're going to do, you're going to have people who are going to oppose to that, who are going to criticize against it. They're going to say that there's something wrong with it because it's not their immediate reality, period. You know what I'm saying? So that's just personally how I feel about that this situation on Tabitha, she just shouldn't even say anything about. Why was that even important for her to even put that out there like that to begin with anyway? That's my question. Why was that so important for everybody need to know that?
That's what I'm saying. So I can see definitely why it's important for her, because it's her. Individualism versus collectivism is always going to win for me. I believe when people have a secure sense of self, they celebrate themselves, whether it's a small victory or a large victory for them. they're going to celebrate it regardless of how the world outside of them views that. Because Tabitha is obviously a person that is truly seated in her spirituality. Her religion guides what she does. So if you look at Christianity is about celebrating your successes through your successor. So if you believe that God gave you XYZ and God provided when you had no provisions, if you've had humble beginnings, and Tabitha has, like, I've, had an opportunity to see her in her fruition. What I didn't like about these females, right? I'm struggling, okay, is that these females went after this woman's age, talking about she's aging like this, or she's looking at like this, or they went after her marriage, her husband's child, her child support payment history for her husband. Why are you worried about these things? Her buying this car and celebrating that is a part of her recognizing that I was not at this. I never had the ability to be able to do this. And I want people who are following me, because if you know who this woman is, she is a woman who pours back into that in which she came from. So she struggled. She struggled with, people accepting her for roles when she tried to audition for roles in Hollywood. She's had several no's. She's had a very difficult go at it. And she had this man who supported her through it, regardless of what society was moving to do. See, that's the thing. Society has always been moving to remove the Black man from the homes. Society has, not the white man. Society, that means Black women. Black men have been conditioning themselves to remove Black men from the homes where women lie with them in sync. So if society has been deconditioning and everything that you see around you is a bunch of baby mamas being produced, follow me now. If that's what you see around you, and you see, especially in the heart of the struggle, where this man is now responsible for child support for his kid because he's no longer with the kid's mom and he's with you, there is something about you that will appreciate that man's efforts to continue to provide by any means necessary. When he decided to go out here and step into the most dangerous occupation that a civilian man can step into to provide for his family, that was her confirmation that this is a man worth investing in. When he decided to stay his course through her vegan journey, through her life journey, through her failures as an actress, you understand what I'm saying? That was her cue that he was a man worth investing in. Why? Because he already invested in her. So a man who is a true man, who is rested in his position as a man, as a provider, a protector.
Yep.
That's what he does.
Hey, she preaching, doctor. Get it. Hey,
I'm just saying.
Before she continue, say, we need to bless the preacher right now. We need to bless the preacher, doctor, right now. We need y'all to get them likes and subs up right now. We're not asking for money just yet. If you get them likes and subs up, that'd be good enough for her. Bless that woman of God right now.
You're a mess. But I'm saying though, like, I don't know who raised these females, okay? And then Cynthia G made a comment and she was like, because I was forced. I mean, I wasn't really Christian. I was forced to go to church. So that wasn't me. And your Bible says this and your Bible says that. Your Bible doesn't say that a woman who is in receipt of her man, right? Who is appreciative of her man does not invest in her man. Your Bible doesn't say that, because the way that the man and woman manage their relationship and their finances and their provisions ain't nobody's business. They're supposed to be able to know that. And like Tab says, if you keep God first in your marriage, right? Not finances. If you have something that allows you to focus outward instead of inward on one another, and those selfish means that people typically do, your marriage will thrive. It will survive, because spirituality is what we are. It's a part of our conditioning, regardless of what your religion is. That's just what we are. We're spiritual collections of energy just colliding when we need to, so that we can meet the needs and purposes of the life that we live. And we can attribute the value that we're meant to attribute to one another, but we can't attribute value if we devalue everything that we see, because we're in a broken place, because life hasn't worked out for us. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I
agree.
feel like, you know, when I'm seeing this, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing hatred, I'm seeing disgust, I'm seeing jealousy amongst everything. That envy will drive your ass crazy. You will look for something in nothing because you're in a dark place. Obviously, Wendy, you're still not healed. Get yourself together. You have no right to impede upon somebody else's life. You just don't, because there are so many levels of wrong there. And because you've been on the brink of suicide in the past, I won't do that thing that I would do to a person like you, because I don't like bullies of people who minding their own business. Tabitha is minding her own business in her relationship with her personal father, her personal husband. And I say personal because these are her personal relationships that y'all are invading in. If she decides to share her successes with the world to inspire that same level of support in another woman who is looking for outcomes, who is looking for guidance because nobody guided her as to how to be a wife, right? Come, follow me where I'm going. Nyla speaks, because this is where I'm coming for some accountability on her part. Understand this. If nobody conditioned you how to be a wife, if nobody conditioned you what to do with that said husband of yours, if nobody conditioned you how to rest in your femininity and still be a strong woman, strength does not equate to masculine energy. Strength equates to survival instincts in humanity. Above all, the female has that. Period. Look at a lioness and the way that she protects her cub. Do you think that she's waiting on the lion? Or do you think you're going to meet your death before he even get there? So I need you guys to understand there are animal instincts in all of us. Females are supposed to be protectors. They're supposed to be strong, but they're not supposed to be the protectors and not have the strength of a man, which is why women and men need to stop getting in these arguments in the Black community. I don't understand that. I can't, for whatever reason, wrap my head around why so many Black females have so much hatred and jealousy and envy for Black men. I understand, what do they call it? Penis envy. Okay. I get that. I get that. But you're a whole 35, 36, 38, 40-year-old female. Help me understand. Who hurt you? Where is Kevin Samuels? When I tell y'all, I told you from the very beginning, when I first started viewing the man's content, I told you guys, when I first, did I not, Official Urban Therapist, when I was on your channel and the conversation was defund and cancel Kevin Samuels, did I not say he doesn't need to be canceled? And this is before I ever knew about any of these people. I said there is a yin to every yang. I said there is a need for balance. Obviously, if he is out there, if that's all I needed to say, if there is a him still in existence, and at that point he had almost 500,000 subscribers. Okay, if he exists for a reason. That means that there is a need for him, and now I clearly see the need for Kevin Samuels. And let me tell you, Kevin Samuels is probably the most toxic of men that I've ever seen in the Black community. I mean, Mr. Jab is probably his mentor, right? But them, all of them, the entire manosphere. I think that now I see why these men have decided to just go their own way, because apparently if the vast majority of these females are hurt, defiled, used up, abused, regardless of anything, they refuse to get healing for their trauma. You leave men with no choice. Literally.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Like,
yeah, because
I'm tired of seeing it. Like, I have seen over treating couples. I'm not gonna lie, in the Black community, treating couples has been some of the most difficult work that I've done. I've seen Black women tear down good Black men live. I've seen it happen live. Like, I've seen it before it even happens, and then watch it as it happens. And I'm like, listen, but didn't we talk about valuation? I have to remind them sometimes to go right back to the basic concepts of what led you here. What did you think, that because you were getting a female that you wouldn't have to do the work? Did you think that a female would just say, yeah, you got to say, you got to go with what she says. She's right. No, I'm about accountability. I'm a therapist. I'm 100% objective. So if you're doing something that leads to the detriment of your being, the well-being of people that are connected to you, the society, the grand scheme of things, just your family, just your relationship, I'm going to identify it and we're going to talk about it, and you're going to navigate your way through healing that component. But we're not playing no games over here. We're not doing that. You're not wasting my time or your money. I mean, you can waste your money, but I'm gonna get paid anyway, so it is what it is. But somebody help me. You guys let me know, what do you guys think is the role of a husband? Do you think there is any validity whatsoever in these young ladies' rhetoric whatsoever today? Like, tell me what you think, official urban therapist, or do you need me to play a little bit more for you to get a good idea? I don't know where you left off.
You could play a little bit more. It depends on where in the conversation they're at. But you
Tanya TKO, Cynthia G is about to speak for a little while, and I think this is actually where Nyla Speaks mentions her husband's response.
Oh, okay. Yeah, play it real quick. Then I could have my perspective after that.
And he's been an officer for 15 years, 5 years away from retirement. Now he has to be dependent on her for his old age senior care. If something happens to his quote unquote dog in the fight, what is he as a man going to do?
Yeah, and another thing, piggybacking off of the daddy's girl thing, when I think about, because shout out to all the good dads, right? Because there are some dads that will sacrifice the new car for the kids, right? So we won't leave them out. So some dads will sacrifice and they will never. My husband is like that. He doesn't drive the new car. I always have the new car. He always drives a much older car, and I always get the nice car. And with my dad, at first it was my mom, and then when he was remarried, then his wife. They always had the new cars and the nice stuff, and he would eventually get one, but they got theirs first. So some men are making those sacrifices, but because you have an understanding of that and that type of man, what you don't want to do is show him up. You don't want to show him up. Like I was watching, remember when Oprah's girlfriend, Gail, when she was married, something that I caught in a conversation with Gail's husband was there was nothing that he could do for Gail because Oprah was going to do better. So he said that I bought her a house, but Oprah bought her a bigger house. I bought her a ring, but Oprah bought her a bigger ring. So when he was explaining all this, it was like he was feeling somewhat emasculated, or like, they were competing for him being a man because they had more money. So it's just like, one reason why I know my dad would not accept anything kind of like your dad is because, like, you can't do for me what I can't, he would be more like, if I didn't have a new car, it's because I didn't want one, not because I couldn't get it,
And then let me ask you this question, Nyla. Why do you think the reason is that she didn't buy her mother a car? What do you think it would have said if she bought her mother a car?
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, because I was going to think about that, because most girls would, even being a daddy's girl, you would be more prone to gift your mother with the new car over your father. But I guess maybe, again, she was protecting her father's masculinity.
So basically, Black worship. Basically, no worship. But I just want to say this before I forget it, because I'm telling you, I need this break. My brain is like not really wanting to continue on. My brain wants a break. But there is a universal code, and agreement on what manhood is. This is universal. And the way that manhood is expressed, what it looks like, is also universal. And that's one thing, you know, I'll reference the show 90 Day Fiance. That's one of the reasons I like watching it, because you get a good idea of how other men function, not just within this country, but in other countries as well. And there was a season where this white woman, she went out to Korea. She had a baby with this Korean man. And among all of his peers, because he could not provide for her, they said that he is an embarrassment to Koreans. This is literally what they said. He's an embarrassment to Koreans because he's not providing for that woman. And even with the white chick's mom, even though this chick had 2 kids by 2 different dudes, she had one by the Korean man and one by a white man when she was in the States. Not once did they have a discussion about her being a single mom. Her mother said, if he cannot provide for you, then you need to leave him. If he cannot provide, because he's not meeting the burden of manhood. It is his, she said, it's his job. He should have already had you a place to stay when you got here. He should have already had a job so that he can provide for you when he got here. This is his role as a man. But among his Asian male counterparts, they said he's an embarrassment. He's an embarrassment because he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing as a man. Yet in our community, we uphold the women stepping into the role of the man. That is what we do. That's what Tabitha Brown is doing. She's upholding and going against her religion, because again, in that Bible, it says that if a man does not provide for his family, he is worse than an infidel. So the question is, why are there so many Christian Black women who are even willing to disregard their own religious belief system just for the effort of making sure that Black men do not express the global manifestation of manhood? Why?
Because they're the prize, don't you know?
But even if you're the prize, you still have to be a man, though. As in accordance with it, there isn't any religion on the face of the planet. So no matter what they try to say that she is, because people were saying, well, she's just because she brings up God doesn't mean she's a Christian. Well, we know that if she's an American Black woman, then 9 times out of 10, she's a Christian. We know that. Stop acting like, people act like the percentage of Christian Black people in this country is very small, when in reality, most Black people in this country are Christians. So the bottom line is, every single day, we see Christian Black women going against their own belief system and essentially going against God in an effort to worship Black men and take them out of the seat of manhood so that she can place herself in that seat. That is not your position. His position is to be a provider. And what Tabitha Brown's husband said that stood out, he said, I've been providing for my family. This is where I get my respect from. So people, when he's telling you, even within his community of peers, him being able to provide and be the sole provider is what got him respect. It is attached to his manhood. And then she's basically saying, no, I don't want you in the role of the man. I want to be the sole provider. This has been her dream for 15 years. She have been waiting till she makes enough money so that she can take him out of the seat of manhood and so that she can sit in her.
Her voice is annoying. So go ahead.
All I'm hearing is some bickering women, and they're not offering no type of solution whatsoever.
They got something.
So let's play around with this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's play around with their theory. All right, let's say hypothetically speaking that every man in the world conform to their ideology and go ahead and do exactly what they said.
Right.
So what will that leave the men and the women? Will that make the world this perfect utopia, or what? What will be the solution? Because
I I agree.
even if a man were to conform to that ideology, there's still no solution. Matter of fact, there's still no accountability whatsoever.
Here's the thing, okay? I feel like what they're doing is mistaking his message, misconveying his message. So a man saying, and I don't know why he feels that he would have to justify anything, but a man saying this is where my respect comes from. My wife respects me. My wife yields to me. My wife submits to me. My wife honors me because I have done an honorable job as a husband supporting my family system. So I think that's what he's saying. I think it's crazy to me that this female that's never been married, that's somebody find me a marriage certificate for her and find me a man who is still living after having been tethered to her. I would even somebody find me the man who impregnated her. Somebody go find him. That's what y'all do. Find him and bring him to me. Accountability is here today. So this is what I
Yeah,
think.
that
She's taken that with her ill-qualified ideology, and she's looking to judge a woman in a man's marriage because she does not have the luxury of having had that unity. And so having not had that luxury, she wants to go to a religion that she has vacated because her lifestyle habits, okay, cognitive dissonance.
mhm,
She had
according to
cognitive
everybody
dissonance.
else.
She literally had cognitive dissonance, and her decision as a result of that was for her to vacate Christian faith. That's what's her name? Cynthia G. Because she wanted to
Hmm.
have sex with people unprotected and not yield the fruit that the Bible says a Christian woman is to yield. So now when you see that a woman is living this life, and as a result of her coming into a position to where she can now provide her husband with a gift of endearment, of appreciation, of her appreciation for him in his long-term seated position over 20 years of marriage, by the way. Now that she can finally upgrade him, nobody said anything to Beyonce. Now that she
Hmm.
finally has seated her position, and seated in her position to where she can do something for her husband after he's done so much for her and supported her, right? Helped her stand strong in those moments where she felt weak and vulnerable because she was turned down for roles and things like that while she was trying to pursue this career. When she has finally stepped into a position to where she can do that for him and give back and pour into his dream of how he would like to provide, not his necessity, right? Because I talk to people about the positioning themselves for entrepreneurship, that thing. Dr. Boyce Watkins made a comment, and somebody asked me how I felt about it, because when I talk about this, I teach this in my business and seminars all the time. If you have never held a regular job, you don't have a sense of work ethic because you have no personal accountability. You don't know what that's like to be personally accountable to someone above yourself. So if you go into business with that type of mindset where you think that you're only supposed to be an entrepreneur, you will fail several times before you succeed versus going in there, growing and thriving and learning, because you will know when to lead and when to follow if you've had that in your past. You understand? So, what I see here is a person who has never had a job, and I see a person who has never been married weighing in on a conversation that was had between a man and a woman who were married, committed to one another for a length of time. And at some point, there was a conversation had as to, okay, babe, so how are we going to do this? Because I want to pursue my dreams as an actress, and that's going to take this, and, if we got to live here, so we can have a life and eventually get here, what will that look like for us? Right? And then, having had that conversation, he goes out and puts into practice what he said he would do by securing their life and their future while she goes after her dreams. And she promises then, as a result, even within herself, not even necessarily in that conversation, because this is what real women do. She already has it in her mind that I need to make sure that I show the appreciation for him, not only being the man that he said he'd be, but finding means outside of the normal means when he had no means that to continue his position. So now I want to seat him where he would rather be in life as he provides for us. You understand what I'm saying? Because I can do this.
You know what, Cynthia, she was misquoting that Bible scripture, right?
Of course.
That's to fit her narrative. So why she didn't reference Proverbs 31 though? Because that's exactly what Tabitha is doing according to us Proverbs 31.
That's true. But she's not going to do that because it's about her trying to find a way to misquote and devalue this relationship and this woman, because there is a seed of jealousy there. So at the end of the day, if you've never been married, if no man has deemed it fit to marry you, and I can see why, then you can't speak to married people's issues. You need to continue to do. This is one time that I really agree with Kevin Samuels. And I really hate to say it. But
did you hear that, producer? Oh my God.
I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to quote Kevin Samuels. But let me tell you, he was wrong when he said it to that young lady. But this is a moment where he would be right. He would be spot on when Kevin Samuels, well, you know what? Where you see yourself in 5 years? Are you going to be able to make $70,000? Because it's going to take $70,000 for you to equate to 2 incomes for you to be able to take care of yourself. The fuck? You're going to die alone. Go get your dog and just, I feel like this is a moment where Kevin Samuels has validity, because the reality is Kevin Samuels hasn't met the type of woman. Yes, he has, because he's had Cynthia G on. I need to go find that clip. But the reality is she is that woman. She does need to continue to get the donations through YouTube. She does need to continue to go, 100% full-fledged and secure her bag, because obviously she's going to be in for a very difficult life. You understand what I'm saying? So just like Wendy Williams said, I can foresee in the future their marriage going through struggle. You can see in your foresight that you should have saw that shit in yours. You know what I mean? So tarot card reading, Wendy Williams, right? And they even claim that's what's her name, Tab, got a tarot card reading, and they said that what I was gonna say. They said that she got a negative tarot card reading saying her husband was gonna cheat. Where are y'all getting this? Who is? I am very connected. And I didn't even get that when I was looking out. You know what I mean? Okay. It's a sham. Even if they go through difficult times in their marriage, though, I'm going to be serious. Even if they go through difficult times in their marriage, difficult times don't equate to divorce unless you're not emotionally mature enough to make it through those difficult times. Because emotional maturation means that you have to accept accountability for not only the role that you've played over the course of your marriage, but also in ignoring some of the things that your marriage naturally needs that you've not given to it. Because people look at marriage as just a component of themselves. So they, you know what I mean? So they get real selfish about that experience being in a marriage. And so they think that these two people are becoming one. But the reality is You two have to remain two separate, very independent entities who pour into the one in order for that union to survive. Like, you have to be a person that externalizes the marriage to the extent that you cultivate it. You see when the weeds need pruning, right? You see when it needs to be watered properly. You see what needs to be picked. You understand? So you can bear healthy fruit. And so I think that people in these relationships, especially Black people, they are making it very difficult for the Black community as a whole to thrive because, like I said, how many people are watching this thread and commenting, piggybacking off of that, continuing to go forward and believe that's what's right. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy to me that these young ladies, I think they misquote Kevin Samuels when they say a man should pay for everything. Like, this man obviously been paying for everything. But the more important thing here is the sense of entitlement of Black women. Young Black women think that when they get in a relationship, a man paying for everything and a man protecting and providing equates to, I make my money and my money stays with me. Your money is his money is your money, our money is our money together. It's still his money because you're his wife. That's how life goes when you become a wife, though. I don't understand, because Nyla Speaks has a husband. And I'm just wondering what that looks like. I'm wondering what that relationship looks like. Somebody commented something about the husband producer. Let me read this one first. Okay, so do you think that a lot of women think like Tanya and Cindy? I think that based on my experience with young women who have been in therapy, based on my experience with seeing the commentary around accountability from Monique's excuse me, stuff, and from Kevin Samuel stuff, social media general consensus, I think there are a tremendous amount of young women who have this mindset.
So they said some. You done went all the way up to tremendous. Some of tremendous is a huge number.
That's the vast majority. I talked to you guys about the fact that the reality is we have more young people alive than older people. So there are more, the population of people who are 35 and younger is in high abundance. The population of people who are 36 and older are dying rapidly. Okay? That's the reality. Yeah. That's the reality. So if there are naturally more of them than us, then that becomes a natural part of the conditioning, especially when you have some women who are older than that 35, hence the women right here, who are so hurt that when it's time for them to move into that more mature state of mind at 35, they can't do it because they're just hurt children. Wherever they were hurt, wherever their traumas lie, their interactions with men have been so negative that they can't see viable, sustainable relationships in their future with a man. And my thing is, if you can't see it with a man, go find yourself a transsexual. You can't see it with a transsexual, then go find yourself another woman. I mean, it's all in whatever it is you prefer. Go try the field, see what happens. It's lots of options out here.
Hey, Dr. J. Hey, I appreciate the conversation and the invite, but I'm gonna have to jump down and stuff because I got a early morning.
Definitely. We're wrapping up anyway, but I want to know from you guys what you think. And thanks for coming on, Official Urban Therapist. Go ahead and put your stuff out there so they know where to find you.
Yeah, absolutely. I am the Official Urban Therapist. You could find me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all them good old platforms. You can find me on there. Matter of fact, I just got to doing a show today, so check out that video. The video is entitled, Kevin Samuels say that he agree with domestic violence or something like that. And I was talking about that to share my perspective. So go ahead and check that out. Check that out. Let me know what you think.
Definitely. We'll be checking it out as soon as we're done here. You know, we got about a good 20 or so minutes. But so, I want to know what you guys think. Start typing your info in, your responses in, and we'll read them out loud. So he has a nonprofit. She only retired him from putting his life online. Right. I mentioned that earlier. And the interesting thing to me is that the only thing that these females could find to talk about is the fact that this woman said she was retiring her husband, and she bought him a car and bought her dad a car and all these things, right? Awesome. Thank you. Because like Official Urban Therapist, he has some good content on there. He does. He has some very funny things on there too. But I want to know what you guys are thinking. Let's pull up some of these comments, producer, because I need to go through them because I haven't really seen them. So do you think a lot of women? Okay, I saw that one already. Oh, let me go. I'll look. Oh, this one is referring to Wendy Williams, probably. That's why. What's his name? The one that just passed away, DMX Earl. That's why he didn't want to go on her show, because he knew that she's so negative and she has so many skeletons in the closet. And my thing is, before you go and you point the finger at somebody else, please recognize that there are three good ones pointing back at you. You understand? So I think you have to be very honest about where you are in life. Let's see. Man, said she used the Bible as a wig stand. Who? Which one? Cynthia G? Or I think Nyla Speaks always has her real hair. I don't know if she wears wigs, but Wendy wears pain in her eyes. She needs to heal. It's time. I do agree. I felt like, and let me tell you something. Here's the reality. I felt that Wendy Williams would mature. And I really thought that she would not come back to her show after she had all of the issues with her husband. I really thought that was the end of Wendy Williams hosting that show and reviewing that content in the way that she reviewed negative content, right? And then the fact that her audience claps when they see that this woman, says, I'm retiring my husband, and everything that she's gone through and all that good stuff. Okay. Oh, Cynthia G. She probably does. Now, I feel like when the audience claps, that's confirmation for Wendy Williams. In that moment, she could have decided to do something different, but she didn't. She could have said, yeah, you know what? Big ups to her. I hope she doesn't go through what I went through with Kevin, with his whole ass or whatever she wanted to call it. Yeah. I see that that's an opportunity for her to show some level of self-growth. But I think that Wendy Williams is also still hurt. She's still very much amidst her trauma, because that wasn't that long ago. And then for her to have lost her mom, and I don't even know what that really looks like, because I feel like she half dealt with it, half didn't deal with it. There was some rumors that she didn't even show up at the funeral from her brother. there was a lot of stuff there. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is Wendy Williams needs to get herself together. And like I was saying, like for 3 females to be reviewing content of a Black woman, she looks just like you. Okay. In her response to, we said her mother passed several years ago. This is so offensive. Oh yeah, to her mom. But so I feel like if in response to a woman trying to show her appreciation to her husband, when women say, ew, that's tacky, or she shouldn't be doing that, or that's a negative thing. For me, when you can only find the negative instead of finding the positive, that tells me that there is something wrong with you. The fact that they went to the extent of comparing the standard of the Black man. This is a thing, this is a point of contention from you guys. I don't know how many of you have feelings about this, but initially reviewing the extent of Kevin Samuels' content, one of my big things was he's a man. So why is a man trying to tell a woman how to be a woman? That's not a man's job. It's not a man's job. You can definitely teach a woman the things that you yourself go after. You can't even teach a woman what the vast majority of men want, simply because that's not your business. Oh, you said when they said, why didn't she buy her mom a car instead of dad? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did. I was going to talk about that too. It was just said before I cut this off. And the interesting thing is, but they did all of this. Okay. They did all of this review. So that tells me they should have done their due diligence and done their research. Now, she does have a sister she could have bought the car for. But that's not even the point. The point is she obviously wants to honor the men in her life who were important and influential in her making it to where she's made it in life. And so those men would be her father. They'd be her husband. You see what I'm saying? So I think that we have to be the kind of people who look to find the positive reasons that motivate people to do the things that they do. So they go all the way back to compare Black men and their masculinity to that of an Asian guy, of any guy, to the global standard, and to say that because that global standard says this, Black women have a problem with holding men up to this standard, when clearly in this relationship, this man has provided for his family. Clearly in this relationship, this man has done more than provide and then go above and beyond to support the dreams of his queen. The problem that I have with people of an opposite gender giving advice as to how another gender is supposed to operate fully, and then saying that's the end all be all in the interpretation, and they have to walk and move like this. This is how you interpret it. The problem I have with that is that you have to have congruent figures in your life that have demonstrated this is what that looks like. What I see is in Cynthia G's life, she's just not had that. So who are you telling Black men how to be Black men? Same thing for Kevin Samuels. Who are you telling Black women how to be Black women? This is my only problem, but I do see the relevance of a Kevin Samuels considering these 3 different people. I see the relevance of people like him because at the end of the day, somebody has to say, let's straighten these women out. But I think that when a man says or a female says that the mirror image of them is so negative that they are unworthy of continuing their legacies together, I think it speaks to personal hate. I really do. Hey, Lisa, how are you? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about this content that was released earlier today? And I'm gonna play a little bit because if you've been here for 20 minutes, you haven't heard it.
Herself. That is a problem.
And why is it that Black women are proud of this though? They're proud when they can do these, like it's a badge of honor when a woman does something like this. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why you would proudly even work on, look, you can call me selfish or whatever, but when I think of stuff like this, I think of myself first, right? Because what? The first rule in femininity, I don't care what anybody tells you, is putting yourself first. So thinking of myself first is, oh my God, I would love to have $1 million so I could do XYZ. Not so that you don't have to have a provider no more so that you become the provider. But why is that celebrated?
I want you guys to look at the comments.
And proud of that. And even thinking about how, like you said, like, why does she want to be in that position? It's because she does not trust him. And honestly, if he's had these kids on her, if she's had to pay back child support, if she's had to listen to someone, because I'm assuming, again, he had to be complaining about going to work every day, which is why it's on her heart. So to make sure that he doesn't, why does she want to be like that? So this is almost starting to sound like that whole having a piece of man is better than having no man at all type of thing. Like I'm just not with it. Like my husband was going to work, and I'm not exaggerating, 6 to 7 days a week, at working between 16 and 18 hours a day. And he never complained one day, never complained. So, and not to say that, men don't get tired or whatever, but men are not supposed to be complaining about making provisions for their families.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys ever been around a man? And after I say this and after Tanya speaks, I want to play Wendy Williams' response and then Tabitha Brown's Christian passive aggressive response. Because it was very catty and passive aggressive, but damn it, I already lost my train of thought. That's why I'm telling y'all, my brain wants to rest. I already lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was
competing with them though. Like, is this what it is? Is this how she's competing with other women?
I don't even know that she's competing. I really feel like some Black women really just believe that this is normal. I really do. I believe that because our culture promotes the Black women, that's why I say a lot of Black men are feminists. They want to say that they're traditional, but they're not. They're feminists. And so ultimately you have Black women co-signing this and you have Black men doing it as well, because ultimately, in order for Black men to step into the role of an actual man, he would have to compete with other men in society. And the one thing Black men don't want to do is compete with other men in society. So they're quite fine with complaining about systemic injustices that they're not doing anything about. They're fine promoting feminist sentiments like going 50-50. They're fine with sitting up here having the contradiction of saying they want a traditional woman, but they're a feminist-minded man. And the reason they're fine with it is because Black women are going to co-sign it, because that is also what she thinks the norm is. She thinks that's her role. She's been told that she needs to be a ride or die, and she needs to protect and shelter and take care of Black men from the big bad system that's holding him down. So now you basically have masculine-minded Black women and feminist-minded Black men.
That's deep. That's deep.
I agree. I feel like it's more than just blatant lies. I think what happens is over the course of one's lifespan, you either meet the goals that you set out for yourself or you don't. And when you don't, that's Cynthia G speaking. So, forgive me for disliking while you guys are on, but it is what it is. I had to make sure I did my due diligence. But here is my thing. I have a problem with, you see all the comments? I was showing you guys all the comments, right? I I have a problem with understanding how it is that they can make so many assumptions about this woman. And what that tells me is I'm gonna go from a clinical standpoint. What that tells me is they've kind of gone to, because they've not had anything from Tab. I've been observing the same things. So they've had nothing to show them that this woman feels like she's in competition with anyone. But the fact that you have Nyla, that was Nyla that spoke to that, the one that's married. And I'm not one to gossip. What she used to say, but you ain't heard that from me. I'm not one to gossip, but I'm just going off of reality. So what you're saying in this thing is that this married woman is doing these things for her husband, not because she wants to, allow her husband to, to seat himself in a position to where he's happy and he's doing what he wants to continue to do in his provisional role, right? For the rest of his life. Like, not for that reason, but she's doing it because she's in competition with other women. So that tells me that you're the one who is out there trying to be in competition with other women. I'm just saying. So you don't have to project your situation onto this woman's situation, because obviously she's rested in her femininity. And it kills me when women think that the feminist movement, let me clarify that piece, if nothing else, for you guys tonight. You said, can you imagine these women having some? Listen, first of all, I'm going to correct that. There is a difference between a woman and a female. Women come with maturation. That ain't it. But I think that the Cynthia G girl, I think she has a son with the person that she had sex with, that she met on YouTube or something. That's also none of my business. But let me clarify this. Being a feminist is not a bad thing. And the feminist movement, even though it's mistaken so many times, the feminist movement was about women finally having a right to move into spaces of employment. And that had nothing to do with the Black household or Black experience. It was actually the overall experience of American households. Not so America could be the start of something new and fresh for marriages, because women had already been making money. They just didn't have legal means as to make money, right? Women were seamstress and were going and cleaning houses. They were doing these things, and of course they were getting paid, but they didn't have an opportunity to work regular jobs and therefore acquire an education that would allow them to seat themselves in these other positions in life to where they could help, right? More effectively. And their men never had a problem with providing still when their women were bringing in money then. Like I say all the time, these young women have never been able to see what these traditional relationships look like. And so, as a person who was able to see what that looked like, my thing is, I feel like the grandparents dropped the ball. It's their fault. It's the mothers. They dropped the ball. You didn't teach your kids what they needed to know. Your women what they needed to know. And so as a result, you got them out here misinforming the world and misinforming themselves and misstepping in their life journey. And as a result, they don't end up married. They end up baby mamaed. Period. I could see if somebody married you. Anybody married you. I could see if you married and the marriage was so toxic and failed. That would say that somebody saw fit to make you their wife at some point. He could have been confused, or he had life altogether. Either way, somebody saw fit to make you a wife. So at some point in your life, the mask you had on looked befitting. Okay, so Nyla speaks. Here we go. It's you. You got picked. Does having difficulties in a marriage mean that you're a bad person? Nope. Does your spouse cheating mean you're a bad person? Nope. Does it mean that you're a subpar wife or husband? Nope. Does it mean that you don't have value? Not at all. What it means is marriage is struggle. If you continue your marriage after these types of betrayals have taken place in your marriage, does it mean that you have conceded that you don't have value or self-worth, that you don't love yourself, that you are just settling because there's something better out there? No, it means that you learned from the lessons that experience taught yourself and your spouse. And as a result, both of you emotionally matured into another space. Therefore, you got an opportunity to reinvent what marriage will be, reinvent what marriage will look like, reinvent an opportunity to be happy, reinvent what it looks like to really understand and embody peace in everything that you do together. A woman is meant to be a man's peace. So if you're not his peace, then what are you? I don't see any of these women being someone's peace. I don't. And so whoever spoke to the anger issues of Nyla's husband, maybe that's possible. I agree. Because I don't think that there is anybody that can keep someone tethered if they aren't even tethered themselves, right? So I think that these young females need to do their work. They need to do their self-work. They need to get self together. And definitely Wendy Williams needs to get herself together. So, if you guys are interested, this video is on Cynthia G's page. I I just don't have an interest in playing it. And yes, I feel like this was a direct attack on Tabitha. I feel like it was a lot of things. But let me go and share this video of Tab's reply really quick. You have to learn not only from mistakes in your marriage, but also from mistakes in life. And what it tells me is that these young ladies aren't learning from their mistakes. I mean, I didn't have to see that to make that evaluation, though. I'm just going to be honest. Let's see. It's not that's not the right one. Because I'm not going to play that anymore. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. And you guys could have saw this already, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to go ahead and play it anyway. Why am I going to play it? Because, she's not here to defend herself. So come on, Tab. Come through.
Little work here. That's why I got my pajamas on in my office. And then my phone started going off like crazy. People was like, "Yo, Wendy Williams." First of all, Wendy Williams, honey, God bless you. God bless you. Okay. And so people sent me a little clip and I said, "Oh my God, the pain this woman must be in. Wendy, the pain you must be in to feel this way. And I'm so sorry. But listen, let me tell you this. 23 years I've been with my husband. Yes. Broke for a very long time together. Struggled for a very long time together. Succeeded for the last couple of years together, right? My husband took a job in agreement with me. He took a job 15 years ago to help support my dream. And I know you may not know what that looks like in a genuine place, right? But this was an agreement that my husband and I had. And I told him 15 years ago, "Oh, babe, in 5 years, I'll be able to take you out of there so then you can pursue one of your dreams that you love." Right now, I was his dog in the fight, okay? And he believed in me. And we did it together for the last 15 years. I did every year with him at LAPD, and he did every year with me with rejection and no's in this entertainment industry, right? However, God has blessed me. He has allowed me to manifest. I've been praying on this for a very long time, and it has now come to pass. That is the power of God. It's also the power of allowing God to be first in your marriage. Okay? And that is how it remains successful. We keep him first. He is first in our marriage, not money, not business, not success, but God. He's first. Okay? So this is my prayer for you. Uh, I pray that love finds you, true love. I pray it finds you and it holds you tight. I pray that someone will love you enough to see you when you are not well, to see you when you need true support, to see you when you need compassion, to see you when you need kindness. I pray that somebody loves you enough to sacrifice their life for you. I pray that type of love finds you so that you can understand why. I don't want my husband to put his life on the line anymore wearing a bulletproof vest if he don't have to. And if that's not his desire, I love him enough that I want him to be safe and I want him to coach children the way he wants to. My husband has a nonprofit, right? And he wants to be able to build that even more so. And what I do know is a 9 to 5 or a steady job takes away time for creativity, takes away time that you want to pour into your real true purpose. And if God blesses someone to be able to pull out of that 9 to 5 and pour everything into their purpose, their passion, ooh, my goodness, why would we dishonor God if he blesses us with the ability and the way to be able to do so? Ooh, honey, I'm excited about that. Oh, I pray that somebody finds you, love finds you, that excites you the way I am excited about my husband being able to grow his business, being able to pour into children, continue to coach these kids, do other things he's dreamt about. Oh, honey, I pray this type of excitement and love finds you and anybody else who seems to not understand this. I pray that type of love finds you sacrifice, compassion, like I really do. I really, really do. Okay. With that being said, I thank all of y'all for messaging me and telling me about it. And I want you, whoever is watching, who understands the type of love, let us all pray for people like Miss Wendy and others who have either been so hurt or never found a genuine love that fills their heart with so much compassion and joy. Let us all pray that they find that and that it finds them. Yes, very good. Now, I want y'all to go on about your business, okay? And have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's here. God bless you. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.
Well, I don't think I could have said it better. I don't think anybody could have said it better. And when I tell you, sometimes I feel like, some people will do anything to break your spirit. Okay. My message to Tab and to her husband: go on about your business, right? Continue to live life with love, compassion, and purpose, right? And my message to Cynthia G, Nyla Speaks, and Tanya TKO: I know that there is a tremendous amount of negative energy, and I know that there is this overarching idea that all publicity is good publicity. And I totally get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. You know, your generation is a very lost generation. That's the reality. And that's not to speak for all the people that are born of your generation. I have kids in that generation. And I sometimes feel for my daughters. I mean, I'm thankful that one of them is engaged right now because at the end of the day, when the vast majority of black men have to sit with this, and the vast majority of men have to partake in and witness this, when people in general, cultures of people, have to see us behaving like this in this culture, and you represent us, you are now my problem. When this is what people see when they look at us, because it's gotten enough clicks on the internet, because enough people have promoted that on the internet, because this has become us, that this is how we are now defined as hateful, hurting, broken people who cannot celebrate the successes of another person. Thank you. If this is what we have become, we really have to do some work. But I am the person for accountability. So if you are offended by this content, please feel free to come on in over here and explain yourself. Explain yourself. And thanks for the happy birthday. I definitely enjoyed, I just decided to do my own thing today. And I'm like, I ain't going to take it. Like, I don't have severe allergies, and the United States doesn't hate me as a whole. But no, like, there are enough issues going on in society. I want to draw your attention to the larger issue. The larger issue is that our young black men and women are killing each other in these streets now. It's a way of life. Tab's husband has had a direct front seat to that. And now he has a viable solution to that problem. And in him having a viable solution to that problem, he's now decided to dedicate himself towards alleviating that chaos in these streets in our community. And the only thing that we can say is that we can find negativity. We can hope that their marriage is going to come under scrutiny, that they're going to go through a difficult time, that they're going to have a hard life, that he's going to cheat on her in the future. And as a result, what does that mean? What does that even mean? She's in competition with other women. Let me tell you something. A woman who is truly rested in her femininity, because I keep hearing you guys mention that. A woman who is rested in her femininity can go to work, have her business, make the most money in their situation, and still have a high appreciation for her man, because her money is not her money. Her money is to attribute to the livelihood of their combined life together. Okay, that wonderful thing called a relationship. So every dime is invested in that, and whatever the fruits of that relationship are attenuated by based off of what they contribute. But they all contribute 150% of their finances, of their emotions, of their energy to that relationship, and as a result, it yields great fruit. Okay, it does, and you feel the joy that this woman feels. So the reality is your joy has been robbed of you for a reason. If you are not a religious person and you just understand the idea of spirituality, understand that karma has no damn religion. It don't. It doesn't. Karma sees what you do. Karma sees the energy that you put into the atmosphere. Karma recognizes your intentions. Okay, I'm going to take you out of church. Karma recognizes your intentions behind the energy that you put into the atmosphere and brings it back to you fourfold. So when you ask yourself why it is that you've become a baby mama, ask yourself what it is that you put into the atmosphere. even if that's your vagina with no boundaries. Even its failed accountability is the reason. And so when you put good energy, you experience great karma. That's just what it is. Life will yield what it is that you provide to it. Fourfold, just like a woman. Think about life as the balance of a woman for a man. If you give to it, it's going to give it back to you double, triple, fourfold. It's really simple. Really simple. A man provides and he protects. As a result, a woman makes sure that his provisions are multiplied. That's all I got, you guys. Just stop the negativity. Just because it's profitable doesn't mean that that's what you should be doing. Find a solution to stopping these young Black people from killing each other. Find a solution to the anxiety that presents in Black people around police interaction and accountability. Find a solution to those things. My solution to you is for YouTube to cancel you people's channel, like, I don't know, for hate speech or some shit like that. But it is what it is. I hope that you guys are out there putting positive energy into the world. You guys are a positive impact on the people that are connected to you. And hopefully this show hasn't been too long or detrimental to your personal spirits, okay? So that's all I've got. I hope I've done my due diligence and I've held these women accountable. Exactly, humility, because that's what it takes. Hopefully we understand that we don't have to continue not only to entertain and co-sign, but also to subscribe to those same value systems and continue to feed that negativity, okay? Because that's what we saw in the comments. Misguided and lost people lead to more misguided and lost people, so somebody needs to be found. Right? Somebody find somebody. Okay? Somebody find a husband or a potential or something like that for these ladies so that they can be, like Tab said, find that peace and that love that, she feels. So that's all I got, you guys. Thank you so much for sitting through this show with me. I hope I have done my due diligence and held these ladies accountable. I definitely asked the difficult questions. Yes, Lisa, you must go back and watch from the beginning. I think that this was a very good show, fruitful show. And of course, the chat has been great as always. So go forth, be great, and be a positive impact on the world around you in a positive way. Go and do something nice with somebody that you didn't know prior to today, tomorrow. Okay. You are very welcome. You are very welcome. And also, you guys, don't forget to go and like and subscribe to this content. You guys know I'm trying to grow this channel. You know what I mean? Donate. Get the likes up, shares up, subs up, all that good stuff. So that's all I've got. See you guys later. Bye.
Who alive can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I'll rip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bunny. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.